royalty, so they call themselves royal expert. White privilege. Simply put, everyone in the room is a liar. Next tweet. Okay, that was short, which is good. While the Sussex squad are raising hundreds, I can see that one. While Sussex squad are raising hundreds of thousands of pounds for charities, royal experts are out there selling their soul for £300 a go. Alright, so there's that. I can see this. Okay, I was shocked they were paid so little to lie. Yep. I've said this so many times. A lot of Brits tends to do so much damage for so little amount of money. So this was one of them, but thank God she just did it to herself. Exposed herself to the world. Okay, those boys were brilliant. Oprah, Meghan, Harry, Victoria, Arbiter is a liar, and Oprah is still trending. There it is here on the side. People are still talking. 5,226 tweet, and I think I brought it up on video one. It was that once I click on the Oprah trending, it took me off track completely. Alright, because there's so much tweet under that regarding Victoria Arbiter. Next tweet. Never underestimate the power of a global group of people committed to the support of a family against death threats, harassment, and conspiracy theories. Alright, also Victoria Arbiter is a liar. Yep, so this is the thing, the squad. When we see the room, that's pretty much what got me, making those videos. It wasn't supposed to be tweets every day. It was supposed little research here and there. But it was just too unbelievable to know that this woman, you never hear a damn thing about her, but that few seconds, when I say few seconds, I mean whatever, 2 years, 3 years after married Harry, and then you're hearing all this negativity about her, and then come to find out they're paying people to speak badly of her. You have that actor Simon Rex, they're trying to pay him $70,000 to say negative thing about her.
I know we can rely on you for being a great guy. So what an incredible friend you were to Meghan Markle is. Have you guys hung out at all since then?
No, we haven't spoken. She just wrote me a very nice thank you letter, and I framed it, and that was very nice of her to do. She just appreciated that I was honest, but it's so funny that we live in a time where everyone's like, it's such a big deal. I just did the right thing.
Right.
It's okay to feel like that should be the norm and the status quo, but it's like, whoa, it's so crazy. He told the truth. I think we should all be a little more honest.
Well, thank you for doing the right thing.
It's your character that matters most.
And you have other writers, they forcing them to write negative about Meghan.
I was called by the Sun newspaper. If you don't know what the Sun is, it's sort of
got the topless girl on page 3. That's all you need to know.
And they called me about a month ago to ask if I'd write about how Meghan was like Wallace and how Meghan was going to destroy the royal family and the arguments between Meghan and Kate. And I said, I'm really sorry, I'm just not privy to all of this. I don't think I could do it. And the commissioning editor was really twisting my arm to write this article and say, but you could say, couldn't you, that X happened, and you could say that she's fired all her staff, and you could say that Kate has said this. And I said, well, I'm really sorry, I don't know that, I can't do it. And this conversation went on for about half an hour, and I didn't write the article, but it just gives you an insight into how this whole thing is being, the flames are being fanned by the media.
It's your character that matters most.
I mean, what kind of thing is that? This is the thing. People who are being paid to do the wrong thing need to think twice, because that few seconds, that few money you're gonna get to do that lifelong of damages, you need to think, because you have your own kids who's gonna grow up in this kind of environment. This is the connection. This is why racism and a lot of negativity cannot stop, because it continues passing on from generation to generation. So many of these young people who are being, well, not all of them who are young, like the arbiter, whatever, you have the father who was doing those lies, and then the daughter continues and all of that. It pass on. At some point, you need to think the money is not worth it, because you are taxing, how do you call this? You poisoning our society with stupidity. Meanwhile, the people who's giving you few change to do the lies, they stay in the background. Okay, they stay in the background taking the benefit, while everybody else, the little people, are fighting among themselves. All right, so that's that. Let's move on. Next, I'm telling you, the negativity from over there, it's mind-boggling. He's busy trying to get that throne right from underneath his father. Right? Okay, so that's it. There's more comment. And is that okay? I was gonna stop. There's O'Brien. Let's see what he has to say here. James O'Brien gives a chilling list of 10 institutions that have been turned into enemies of the people in Brexit Britain. As he warned, it looks like the country is on the path of fascism. The same thing with the United States. I told you. All right, let's see here. Okay. After I was gonna stop, but when I see him, he seemed to usually speak the truth. Let's listen to that.
Is the A to Z, the theory of the A to Z. If they announced the Z today, there is no earthly way we'd put up with it. But if the Z follows the Y, and the Y follows the X, and the X follows the W, and the W follows the V, and we go all the way back to A, so there are 25 different stages before Z arrives, then you don't notice how awful Z is. So this is Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain, all right? And these are 10 institutions or organisations or conventions or obligations, call them what you will.
Before he starts, for some of you, especially those who've been with me since my pre-200 subscribers, if you have watched all of my videos till now, okay, see if some of the things he's saying align to some of the things that I've said in the past. I'm not really a political analyst. I just look at reality and give my opinion. Okay, let's see if some of the things he's saying hit some of the things that I've said in the past. All right, let's listen.
Have been turned into enemies of the people by the combination of the Vote Leave cabal in Downing Street and Paul Dacre's sort of Politburo at the Daily Mail. And I'm going to run through those 10 things that have all come under attack in our country from the most powerful institution in the media and the actual government. The Church of England. Okay. Okay, that the Archbishop of Canterbury under attack from government and Daily Mail.
Look at this. When what is it? The Archbishop came out to say his BS about Prince Andrew. I was like, I don't give a F if he's that should be respected as this holy person, but to tell me to give that pedophile a pass and respect them because his mother this, I think there's somebody else who said that, but to come out to defend him, I was like, hell no. But here we go. Let's continue.
Or criticising the disgusting Rwanda refugee scheme and other things as well, constantly being told, despite of course having a seat in the House of Lords, to stay out of politics. So the Church of England is an enemy. The Bank of England is an enemy because the previous governor was factual and evidence-based in his predictions of what Brexit would mean, and the current governor is more ignored than attacked, but warned this week that Britain is set to become the worst performing economy in the developed world. So
but the Tories, the people who like the Tories, don't make it seem like you guys are winning, but it's true. Look at this. And earlier on, I was talking about economic and how the institution need to learn about financing. I think there was one video, could have been last year. I sort of spoke about something with. Did one of the royal people who works for the royal did work for a bank, and there's some sort of connection, but I think I thought based on that there was something with the banks, but I spoke about it in some shape or form. This is where they're trying to control everything, and then people's gonna be begging. That's the thing. And guess what? The US is not too far off. Look what the Supreme Court is doing. Okay, the US is gonna be running by the Supreme Court. Okay, dismantle everything because they have the super majority, the Republicans. Okay, the Republicans are almost like the Tories in the US. Let's continue.
The Bank of England is an enemy. The royal family is an enemy. Former editor of The Sun.
Okay, what did I... Okay, let's listen. Let's listen.
Suggested this week that the only reason the story about Prince Charles accepting suitcases full of cash from an Arab potentate was because Downing Street was so unhappy with him for describing the awful Rwanda refugee scheme as awful. And of course Boris Johnson thought nothing of sending Jacob Rees-Mogg to Balmoral to mislead the Queen about the prorogation of Parliament. So the royal family is an enemy in Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain.
Anything ring the bell from some of the things that I've said in the past? And there's Harry, who left the right time. He saw those things writing on the wall. Alright?
High Court judges, or enemies of the people, as Paul Dacre's Daily Mail.
For the court, what did I say? One of the reasons they wanted to get out of Brexit is to have control of the court. When all this is hand in glove, those pedophile, all of this stuff, they were arresting around the world. When it's their people, if they send those people to the UK courts, they could have control of that. Okay, it's all connected. They are all connected, and this is one of the reasons I was afraid for Meghan's copyright case. For those who are new, once I was aware of the lawsuit, the copyright case, one of the very first thing that I did, I searched and find out, my bootleg search kind of thing, who is the copyright owner of a letter sent. Through that, once I find my answer, I knew Meghan would win. However, my only skepticism about that was the court. I was like, will they do the same thing that they did to Johnny Depp to Meghan? That was my fear. But I think the only reason they did the right thing, Meghan should have won, which she did. But the only reason I truly believe they gave Meghan the win is because if Meghan had to go to court and spill out the dirty laundry that went on in the royal family, this is why they didn't want to continue it. Okay? This is not to say Meghan should not have won. She should have, because based on my bootleg research, it says the sender is the copyright owner. So they violated her copyright thing. And then we have other royal family who have done somewhat similar kind of thing. Where letters, this should be public record. So Meghan fall on the right thing. But the kind of smear campaign Meghan was dealing with, and the kind of crazy character assassination Meghan was going through, I was afraid they may not give her the win. But the reason they gave her the win, they followed the book, okay, according to the book, okay, is because they did not want the royal family dirty laundry to be spilled on national television around the world. Okay, so let's continue. So the court is one of the issues that I've been saying. They want control of the court. There's a video I have. Did I put it privately for members or on my other channel? I don't remember. But I think it's Virgin Island or something like that. UK Virgin Island, something like that. Where in the US, Florida, they arrested the prime minister. They claimed there was some sort, I didn't follow through. I don't remember what's the end of it, but they arrest them for something, some charges of smuggling stuff. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. And then what they say here, they want the UK to have full control of that particular island. And then this island, it's where those people do their offshore banking, the connection of stuff. The US and the UK are running hand in glove. It's not too far away. The only difference between the UK and the US is fighting. A lot of the people are fighting. The UK is immune to it, but there's some connection because a lot of the prominent business people in the US, they use that same offshore thing. But anyway, let's continue. All right, so there's that, and I detail it for you. He lists them, and I'm detailing them for you based on my humble opinion.
Called them lawyers are an enemy in Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain. The people to whom you turn when you need protection from perhaps a false accusation. The people to whom you turn when you need representation in court to ensure that you get justice, having been a victim of crime. The people who help you understand and receive protection from. They are an enemy in Boris Johnson.
There's the police. Okay, I think in a couple of videos ago where they sacked 2 police officers who were supposed to be protecting, let's say, when Harry and Meghan are in the UK. What were they doing? Okay, smearing Meghan's name on their private social whatever WhatsApp kind of thing. They sacked them once they find out. But let's listen.
Johnson's Brexit Britain. The law itself is a problem, is an enemy in Boris Johnson's Brexit.
Okay, I spoke about the law also. Some of the laws that they were putting out, like preventing people from, how do you call this, protesting. Okay, and this is where I think they saw the writing on the wall. People were complaining about the monarchy, and I was like, oh my God, they're shutting people down. They didn't want people to protest and all of that. All right, so there's that. A lot of other laws, not just that, but I saw it coming. I was saying it. There it is. He's pointing it out. All right, a lot of laws were being put to shut people off. All right, go on my other channel. There were a group of people they arrest for toppling, I think, a monument. Oh my God, I forgot. And then they arrested them, but they fought back and they won. Okay, the police were arrested them and all of that, but they won their lawsuit. But let's continue.
Brexit Britain. The BBC needs no explanation or introduction. Is an enemy in Boris.
I spoke about the BBC. The thing about the BBC is that it may not be in the same aspect of James O'Brien, but for the BBC, what I think was happening, they were trashing BBC because, in other words, self-sabotage. They were self-sabotaging BBC. I'm not in the UK, okay? I don't watch BBC. From the outside, this is what I was seeing. It was self-sabotaging because they had the other GB News, I think it was, the one that was the one who's been bashing Meghan, who said go back to America, who was going there. So they wanted people to go there. So I spoke about it. Okay, they wanted to sabotage BBC and people tune in for that new channel, and then how they were gonna get their money to that GB, I think it's GB News. How they were gonna get money is through advertisement. All right, even though you don't have to pay any fee to watch them, but through advertisement, okay, they were gonna make their money back because there will be a lot of eyes watching and all of that. What happened? People tune off, people tune off, people tune off until what? They sacked that guy. And I think it was a breaking news on my on my video when they shut him down. Okay, the one who said go back to America. So that was the whole point for bad mouthing or trying to defund BBC and all of that, is to sabotage it so everybody could tune in for the other channel that was going open. I sort of pointed out. So that's my humble opinion about the BBC. But let's listen.
Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain. Channel 4
is an enemy
in Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain, a fight taken up with alacrity by the Daily Mail.
Don't know much.
Academia itself are Remainer universities, as the Daily Mail called them, or, as is now happening under this government's policies, an English government is deliberately diminishing the teaching of English literature.
Okay. And that aspect, and I spoke about libraries being closed. They're dumbing down the people. I spoke about this. I think me and O'Brien are on the same page. I do not have political analytic kind of thing, but when you see the overall thing of things, you could read between the lines, and that's what I've done. Okay, a lot of libraries in particular is closing down. It's the same thing that's happening in the US. They don't want to teach critical theory about slavery, when those kids should understand how slavery happened, so those things don't happen again. You don't see black people being murdered on the street. Same thing is happening, but the only difference is the people in the UK are not fighting for to reinstate all of those public libraries that being closed. I point them out, and I think not too long ago I mentioned it in one of the videos. I think about 700 or 7,000 or something? I think it's a 7, and I'm seeing 2 zeros from the screenshot that I put that were being closed, and lack of funding and all of that. But yet you freaking paying the institution million. It went 53% up during a pandemic. But those basic things to educate people and are closing the library. Let's say even if and people cannot afford to go to universities and all of that, but sometimes people could just go to libraries and sit down and read a book. I don't know how libraries in the UK works. All right, this kind of thing. But then again, some people need to use their phone in the right way, because there's a lot of places you could search is to find the right source too. That's another thing. But I did talk about education, and then they're throwing a lot of people who are studying how do you call it, foreign student out and all of this. It's a whole bunch of mess. Let's continue. Okay, let's see what else I haven't touched about that O'Brien is mentioning on his list.
In Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain, academia and universities are an enemy.
And let's not forget, during Hitler's time, okay, remember how they were burning books and all of that? The same process, okay? History repeating itself, okay? Let's continue.
Finally, with reference to yesterday's Daily Telegraph as opposed to the Daily Mail, select committees containing a majority of Conservative MPs are kangaroo courts that can't be trusted to properly investigate Boris Johnson's alleged knowingly misleading of Parliament. So,
okay, what did I say? You have friends everywhere. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. The recycle system. Okay, you have people in all places to turn a blind eye. Okay, O'Brien see the same thing that I see. I probably don't explain it well as a better English speaker, but in my 2 cents of English that I'm aware of, I try to make sense of the BS that was going on. Okay, so me and O'Brien are pretty much on the same page, and he's listing them for us.
even parliamentary select committees with a Conservative majority are now enemies in Boris Johnson's Brexit Britain.
And who did I bring up? The only female who stood up in front of Boris, and I think oh my God, I'm thinking, what's her name? That black MP who's called out on Johnson. He was lying, and then they asked her to apologize, and then they kick her out because she will not apologize. This moment in time, the only female who had the guts to stand in front of the freaking bull, and I think I put fearless girl, the monument that stand in front of Wall Street in the US, okay, that fearless girl in front of the bull. That's the way that I consider that MP who stood up in front of the bull. The same system that was going in the US, where all the Republican team up, okay, to bring down the government. This is what's going on in the UK. This is it. But we had that female, fearless girl, stood in front of Parliament and called, what's his name, out. Okay, Boris Johnson out. And they asked her to apologize. And she said no. And they kicked her out. Okay, so you guys in the UK know how this happened much better than I do. So there it is.
And I'll leave you with that happy thought. That's 10. There's more. I could have put the Ministerial Standards Code onto the list and a couple of other things as well. I think.
And let's not forget, and I also mentioned IPSO, okay, where Harry went and made complaint to IPSO about the newspaper who's saying lies about him. Okay, each time, I think it was only one time, the one that I'm aware of, and they turned him down. They say the newspaper didn't do anything wrong. Did Harry go back? Okay, like Princess Diana said, when she went to the Queen and for the Queen to help her with her marriage, the Queen said, what am I supposed to do? She never go back to the Queen again.
By 1985, Diana told Sutherland she had had enough.
So I went to the top lady.
The top lady, otherwise known as Her Majesty.
And I was sobbing, and I said, what do I do? I'm coming to you, what do I do? And she said, I don't know what you should do. So I was hopeless. And that was it. That was help. So I didn't go back to her again for help. Because I don't go back again if I don't get it the first time right. And so over the years, Diana never talks to me. I never know what's going on.
Same thing with Harry. Okay, went to IPSO. IPSO turned a blind eye. From now on, Harry doesn't go to IPSO. Harry goes straight to the court. And people are calling for why he's always going to the court. Guess what? When he went there, everybody turned a blind eye, and they expect him to take the punches. So he goes straight to the court. Alright, so that.
Gonna have to start keeping notes. But not yet, because it's the weekend and the weather's nice and I've got a lawn to mow. So I'll see you on Monday.
Right, so I'm not surprised by any of this. I'm not gonna read any of that. That's it. Alright. Everything is writing on the wall for the UK to do something about it. But no, as soon as they say race, black people's coming to take your stuff away, when all of them are the one who's in power, everybody forgot about the problem. They forgot they were hungry. They forgot they had they can't they can't pay for their fuel, they're freezing. They forgot all about that. And then they vote for the same people who call out wolves, and they are the wolves. They put them right back. All right, so I'm gonna stop here. I'm not reading anymore. Let's do a prayer.